We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant Yaser Said guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment.
All right, time to get to the other big breaking news of the day. A jury finding Yaser Said guilty of the murders of his 2 teenage daughters. The judge sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His trial lasted 6 days, with Said taking the stand, as we told you about yesterday, claiming that he did not kill them. Let's get out to Tanya Yaser, who has been covering this case since it first started so many years ago. Tanya, first of all, if you can, explain the jury's decision here for people who haven't been following this trial closely. If we can kind of talk about this sentence, some people might be wondering, well, why didn't he get the death penalty here?
Well, the death penalty was taken off the table by the district attorney's office, but because he was convicted of capital murder, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, he can appeal this sentence, but obviously that'll be a long and difficult process. The jury came to their decision after about 3 hours. This morning we heard closing statements with the prosecution basically saying, look, Yaser Said got up on the stand yesterday and told, really frankly, a pretty crazy story. He claimed he jumped out of the car because he was afraid because somebody was following them and ran off, and that when he left his daughters, they were alive and well, and he kind of implied that some of their friends might have done this to them. He said that the reason that he never turned himself in was because of the unfair coverage by the media. So basically he blamed the media for his reasons for not turning himself in, for having not gone to their funerals. It was really sort of a crazy story, and frankly it didn't make a whole lot of sense, and clearly the jurors didn't buy it either. Today, after the jury rendered their verdict and he was sentenced to life in prison, we heard victim impact statements. So let's take a listen to what his former wife Patricia Owens had to say.
That mean look that you are glaring at me with, I'm not scared of you anymore. You made me a strong person, but you took my life. You took my family all in one day. You could keep those evil eyes on me as long as you want, but you will never break me down again.
Any authority to communicate with you except the officer.
Tanya, so we're hearing from the 2 girls' mother there. As you said, it seems like the jury just did not buy Said's arguments on the stand yesterday because they came back so quickly with this verdict, and it's a heavy verdict. These trials are not easy on juries, but they came back very quickly here at the thought that a dad would get out of a car and run away while shots were being fired and his 2 teenage daughters were inside. What did you get a sense from the family? I mean, we just heard from the mom there of these 2 teenagers. What did you get as far as a sense of family reaction there in the courtroom? They have waited such a long time here for justice.
Yeah, they have waited a long time, and I do want to clarify, Jason, that he's saying that when he left them, they were alive and well, that someone was following them, but he assumed that it was friends of his daughters, and he kind of told this crazy story about how he thought somebody was after him. It was pretty unbelievable. But his wife and his former wife and her sister, I mean, they were really emphatic in their statements. Patricia Owens calling him the devil, calling him a liar. And as she's talking, he is shaking his hands. He is, shaking his head. He's visibly upset. This is a man, by all accounts, who was all about control. He thought he could control his daughters. He thought he could control his wife. His former wife also said from the stand that because of his actions, his son is now serving a 10-year prison sentence for helping him hide. And what Yaser Said heard today from the criminal justice system is that he is no longer in control. Back to you.
I was going to say, for sure there you couldn't control the jury, and thanks for the clarification there. Again, the shots not being fired. According to him, he ran away, and then everything unfolded after he had run away. But again, the jury definitely not buying that there in the Said trial this afternoon. Life in prison. Tanya Yaser, thank you so much for all the coverage on this, not just during this trial, but through the years.